Hi, this is Sifu Paul with the Kung Fu Athletic Academy. This is a video and a series of videos for new students or those that have taken something for a short time, or maybe they've tried something a couple of times through the years. This video here is going to cover, I look at things in kind of these categories. There are standalones, there are franchises, and then there are affiliates. And what I mean by those three categories, most schools are going to fall into one of those three categories. There are some exceptions, but most of them are going to be one of the three. A franchise is that. It's just, and again, the subject is martial arts and combat sports and health and wellness type programs. Franchises are just like, and we'll use something that's outside as an example. We'll say Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box, there's corporate owned Jack in the Box fast food places, and then there are franchises, and they're owned by an individual, but they have to follow by a certain set of guidelines and rules and things like that, and then they give a certain percentage of the money to the franchise. Affiliates are more. It's a model that I use for the people that teach within my group. They're their own business. They kind of set their own guidelines to a certain degree in their schools, their programs, how they teach them, and all of those things. I don't require them to give me any kind of percentage or monthly payments or anything like that. And then you have a standalone. A standalone is somebody that is kind of, they may have trained with this teacher or with these teachers or something like that, and they've opened a facility, but they're not really attached to a franchise. They're not attached to an affiliate. So what's the good and the bad of these for a new student signing up? Well, I myself, I'm somewhat I'm a standalone myself that is attached to affiliates. The people that train under me, that teach, they're an affiliate of my school. Money that's exchanged there is no more than what is required of a new student coming in, and they're taking classes. You would be paying for the instruction that you're receiving, or the certification that you received, etc. Well, they do no different, other than they may host an event or something. The people that teach under me. That being said, though, franchises, they have a problem where, say if the headquarters for the franchises in some other state or in some large city or some other country, it doesn't necessarily mean that what works for them in that city and in that country, even if it's in the same country, it's something that works in this state may not work in another state. Something that works here in the Dallas area potentially will not work in, we'll say, Austin. I know from my own personal experiences that teaching here is different than teaching in Austin. So that being said, when somebody the corporation that owns the name, they own all of the things that evolve around it, and they dictate out that you need to do these things, and they're going to require you to pay X percentage. Usually those places are more apt to put you on a third-party billing contract. They have to meet a certain amount of money that they have to make every month. So it's a good question to ask whenever you go into a studio. Find out are they affiliated with someone else, or are they not? Or are they a franchise? Some franchises are great in the sense that they ensure that the facilities all look the same, and that the program is the same. So if you lived here in Dallas and you moved to Kansas, to some city there, that it would be the same program. Me personally, I wouldn't join a franchise basically based on that. What I do here in this town where I live out here in Richardson or the Dallas Metroplex is different than my student that teaches in outside of Tulsa. So it's a different community, a different not necessarily that they're different people, it's just a different community, a different way things are run, different things that are involved in the town, different people have different interest levels that are in that particular area. Where I'm at, I'm really close to UTD, and so a lot of more younger people may have an interest in coming to my school versus somebody that is in a town where it's more of a, we'll say, a retirement type community town. So to be a teacher and to work in a school or teach in a school, you want to have that flexibility to be able to offer the right things to the right people. A standalone, somebody that just does their own thing. I could do that, but I feel like even though I've been teaching over 20 years, I want to know that I'm involved with other groups of people that, one, I can network with, two, that I can validate what it is that I'm doing, and three, not so much that it gives you any kind of notoriety. That's not what I'm looking for. It's more that if they're offering some kind of an intensive training program, or somebody's doing some kind of workshop or something, you're able to go and keep expanding your knowledge base. Or it's easier that way, I'll say. Somebody that's completely a total standalone, and they say that they're not affiliated with anyone, and they're, I'm just going to give you like a worst case scenario. They're a standalone. They teach somewhere. You ask them who their teacher was, and they say that their teacher was, some mysterious person. They can't really. They're very vague about explaining who the person is or who they were, or they can't really, or they're very vague about giving out the information about who that person's teacher was, or their methodology, or where the program comes from. I would really, again, my opinion, I would stay, I would try to stay clear of those type of places. Again, I'm new here to the Dallas area, but I've met some really, great instructors here. I used to come here to do for tournaments and stuff in the summers, and bring students here to compete. But I've met some really great people here. Recently met know an instructor that is part of basically an affiliate type program where it's really great. They all network amongst one another. They're in different areas here in the DFW area. I don't do anything that they do, but I look at what they're doing and the camaraderie that they have, and how they're trying to all uplift each other's schools by helping to self-promote their programs, not the person, but the programs. I think that is great, and organizations like that where it's local, the person can make make decisions in the area that they're in, or the person that they're attached to that's over the affiliate group, they're right there close by. Maybe they're not in the same town, but they're close enough that you can give them a call, or you can talk to them, ask them questions, help them to develop something. That's a great approach. So out of the three, myself, I'm affiliated with a few different organizations. Other videos where I'm talking more about me individually or my what I do and the class structure. I'll explain those things more in depth. I just kind of wanted to put that out there again, and just something for people to think about when they're enrolling. You also have these other, we'll kind of say that they're kind of like subcategories of those. You have the franchise schools. A lot of those are, the programs are maybe not as complex, or they're not as detailed, and then sometimes maybe they are. Okay, again, it's just my opinion. But you have self-defense type schools that some will just specifically say they're self-defense, and that's, you know, the moniker that their gym, academy, school goes under. And then you have things like Sancho, or that's purely more of a self-defense type thing. You have things like Krav Maga, you have Sambo. Now some of these things also have a sport attached to them. Then you have things like Taekwondo. There are different types of Taekwondo programs, but a lot of them are kid-oriented programs, okay? And that's great. You know, when your child in something that's maybe physically active and you get them in there and they're training. There's a lot of other programs. Chinese martial arts has Wushu for kids and for young adults. A lot of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools now have children's programs. So there's a lot of things out there for kids. So again, even if it's not for you and it's for your child, don't just pick something because it seems convenient. Again, I don't teach young children, but if it is for your child, if there's another place that's 5 minutes up the street and it's a better fit for you and for your kids, and it may be a few extra minutes up the street, but it's again, it's a better fit. The pricing structure fits your budget better, or the instructor seems like they're more approachable. Then, you know, it's worth it to sign up there. You have big schools and small schools. Mine is a small school. I have no interest in teaching 25 or 30 people at a time. I prefer to teach small groups, you know, small amounts of people at a time. Big schools, a lot of people, when they go in there and they see how large it is and how many people are training, they immediately assume that, especially new people, they immediately assume that it must be really great. And sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's just due to marketing and advertising and the way that they've enrolled people. So please, again, look at those things. Don't just look at the exterior surface of it. Other places where you'll find some of these things that I'm talking about are rec centers. Rec centers are a great place because you can enroll in the rec center, and at the same time you can use the gym facilities, you can use the basketball courts, you can use the showers, you can do all those kinds of things. The problem with the rec centers is that the teacher is limited, that they can only really teach at certain times. It's really one of the biggest drawbacks. Then there are informal classes at junior colleges, and there are clubs at some of the major universities. Again, those, it's usually somebody that's new to teaching, which there's nothing wrong with that, and it could be somebody that's been there for 10 years. But again, the only real drawback there is the time frames. So, when is it available, and am I going to have to juggle my schedule around to meet those time frames? Also, too, not so much with rec centers, but with informal classes, there are these gaps in your training time. And even if myself, I prefer to do semester-based. I prefer people to sign up in a semester base with me. But even during those times that are in between the semesters, it's a holiday time, if people still want to come into my school and train, they're going to be able to. But at a college, most of the time, it's just, your training is going to get stopped now that you're going to, you have a couple others you're going to train with. Then you have gyms. You have some of the big gyms, the big franchise gyms that offer classes. Sometimes the classes are good and sometimes they're not. I can say that because I worked for Worlds and Gold's Gym for quite a long time, quite a few years. So I can honestly say that some of the instructors are really, they're really on, they really do have the skills and the ability. They just choose to teach in a gym. They don't want to open up a school or some of these other types of venues that I'm talking about. So there, the big thing again is if you're enrolling in the gym purely for the fact to take the class, you really want to talk to that instructor of that program before you enroll in it. Then you have people that teach from their garages. They may have the best website in the world and they teach from their garage or they teach from their home. I have done a lot of training that way with instructors, and most of the time it's been positive. Sometimes it hasn't been positive. Me personally, when students that I know well, and they've been with me for a while, they're more than welcome to come to my home and train. And when if in a different environment if you want to. Other than just here at the school. But just remember that you're going to someone's private home in a certain neighborhood and all those things. So that's kind of one of the drawbacks. Is it really set up in a good way that somebody can teach from their home? One of my instructors, he teaches from his home and he has for years, but he has a very large, piece of property. He has a huge place for people to train. He has plenty of parking for people for that. So it again, you have to look at those things. Does it mean that a person is good quality or not good quality because they teach at their home? Absolutely not. Well, another place that people teach, parks. Parks, learning in a park is great. I've had a lot of good experience in learning in a park. But the problem with working in a park is that it's a public space and other people can watch what you're teaching or watch you learning, and you have to find out or not. You have to feel okay with being able to do that. And again, I'm talking about the new student. And then you have we'll go back to kind of like the standalone, or we'll say a commercial school or commercial business. I kind of categorize it as two things. There are some places that, both of them are in a commercial setting, but there are schools that teach in a commercial setting, and then there are martial art businesses that teach in a commercial setting. And you really want to pay attention when you go into the facility and you talk to the instructor, whether it's me or someone else, and try to figure out, is this a business first or is it a school first? So again, some more things to think about when you're signing up for classes. And again, most of these videos are really more just me talking off the cuff. I'm not really editing these or anything like that, and they purely are my opinion. I don't profess that I know everything and all that kind of stuff. I'm just kind of giving you my experiences and some things to think about. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying is 100% right and all that kind of stuff like that. It's just make your own choices. And that's what most of these videos are about, is not going into a place and blindly just signing up based on because something is popular at that time or because your friend is doing it. okay? Or something that you saw, but you've been driving up and down this certain street for the last 3 or 4 months, and you see you keep seeing this sign for a martial arts school, and you go in and you think that maybe it's something you want to do, and you know, and you make that decision to stop. Okay, well that's great, but it still doesn't mean that you have to sign up at that place. Ask questions. You know, the more questions you ask, the more you know, the more apt you are to stay there for a longer period of time. The less information you have, the less we'll say for sure that it's a good place for you or the right place for you, the more of an opportunity is that you're not going to succeed there. So anyway, I hope you liked the video. Like I said, this video series here, there's quite a few of these videos. If you join my or sign up, you know, my YouTube channel, that would be great. I'm going to be releasing some other videos that are over the different subjects that I teach, and then videos to show some of the material that maybe you could do at home if you don't live here in the area, or at least you'll be able to see what I do other than what I say that I do. There's videos on YouTube now of some of the things that I do. I do not do anything that's edited, okay? I know that it gives a better presentation, but to me, especially with this stuff, that if you watch my videos now, if you see things, you're gonna see mistakes, you're gonna see faults. I see them, and imagine you will too, and that's okay. If I try to make everything look perfect, or I speed it up, or I slow it down, and you know, slow-mo, or I add in all kinds of graphics and stuff at the beginning of it and stuff like that, that's great. And it's somebody that has that type of ability to make things look like that, and it makes it look very professional. But I want you to watch my videos and see me as a person, and see the material that I do, and base your opinion on me as an instructor and on the material that I do purely on its face, not because of how elaborate or how great of a video that I can produce or anything like that. So anyway, again, I hope you liked the video. I hope you got something out of it. I just kind of touched on these different types of places. And just one more time, there's nothing wrong with any of these types of setups that's major. It's just that some of them have some things that may not work for you. But anybody that's putting in the effort to teach, whether it's from their garage, they're teaching out of a park, they're teaching from a commercial setting, they're all trying to share with you something that they have a passion for and that they enjoy doing. I can't necessarily say that for those that have the complete business mind of it and franchise kind of mindset. You know, whether you teach in a rec center, you teach in a park, teach from your home, you teach from your own business, you're part of a group of affiliates or networking group that works together. To me, all that's community based. When we start getting into franchises and the franchise is dictating what you're going to teach and how you're going to teach it and what your prices are going to be, you really don't really have much control over things. It's hard to use a sliding scale for those that maybe are, you know, maybe they're in college or maybe they come from a little bit more disadvantaged family, and you want to give them a break on the prices because they've got 3 kids and they want to come to class and train and learn self-defense, or they want to learn something for healing of their body, but you don't really maybe have as much of the flexibility as you do as being your own person in a business type setting like this. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Again, it's I know it's very confusing for somebody that wants to sign up in martial arts. Just looking at all the different aspects of it. And again, I hope these videos, I want you to, whoever watches these videos, whether it's somebody it's a new student or somebody that's been learning for a while or somebody that's teaching. I'm not making these videos to try to denigrate anyone. My whole goal with these videos is to try to get people to see that there's more than just one, there's more than just our thinking that's involved in it. There's, in other words, don't be single-minded about it, okay? See that there's such a variety of different interesting things out there to learn and to do, and that there is more than one way that you can even do one thing. So find the best fit for you. So anyway, I hope you liked the video, and I hope you watch some more of my videos. Thank you.